Hello, my friends, and welcome to the channel. I am Nicole, and I do live here in India. And today I'm with my very good, only special friend, Laurence.
Hello.
Laurence is here to help me do a reaction to a video that was actually her recommendation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day. It's a video on women, and specifically, does women's unpaid work need more attention?
And recognition.
And recognition.
Yeah.
Yes, you make a good point, Laurence. What do you think about this topic?
I think it does. I think what's interesting with this topic is that what I was reading is that it helps economy no matter what.
Because, the unpaid work.
Yeah, because everything done at home, which is unpaid, helps men work more, helps family, and develop economy. Support economy.
Up. Interesting. So let's go ahead and watch. If you haven't already, please give me your like. Please give me your subscribe, and let's go.
Some called it a feminist propaganda, others called it an awakening. That's how much the movie Misses divided the public opinion. But one scene that has played out countless times on Indian pop culture is this.
जहाँ घर की लेडीज और बच्चियाँ हमें अपने हाथों से प्यार से खाना खिलाएं, वही घर घर है।
मैं भी गाड़ी सीख लूं?
अरे तुम पहले पराठे बनाना तो सीख लो बिना हाथ जले।
मैं डांसर हूँ।
हॉबी को जॉब कौन बनाता है?
While these scenes come from narratives based on familial setups, where women are tasked with nurturing entire families, thereby ensuring that the other family members can go out and participate in the economy, this unpaid work, as it's called, has political undercurrents that have started to swell.
जो घर में आप काम करती हैं, उसके लिए आज तक आपको किसी सरकार ने पैसा नहीं दिया।
What is this unpaid work though? Let me explain. The United Nations Women Organization describes tasks such as cooking, cleaning, fetching water and firewood, farming, taking care of children and the elderly as unpaid work, which it says is essential for households and economies to function, but it is also valued less than paid work.
डायपर बदलना है तो वो तो हम ही को करना पड़ेगा ना, लोगों के हाथों से तो रिमोट छूट जाएंगे।
UN Women said women spent about 3 times as many hours on domestic work and care work as men. India's first time use survey, which was carried out in 2019 by the National Sample Survey Office, found that only 26.1% men carried out unpaid domestic services for household members, compared to 81.2% women who did the same. The same survey found that men spent about 1.5 hours a day on unpaid domestic work, while women spent about 5 hours on the same. This gender gap in unpaid household work was found to be more prevalent in urban households compared to rural ones. The International Labour Organization observed that family responsibilities were among the top reasons for women's inactivity in the labor market globally.
मैं इसकी डिग्री नहीं पूछ रही हूँ, मैं तो जानना चाहती हूँ कि घर के काम में इसके हाथ चलते हैं या नहीं.
The time use survey, which was done again in 2024, found that 81.5% women and 27.1% men did unpaid domestic work. The numbers of both were slightly higher this time. But the survey said the number of minutes women spent on unpaid domestic work in a day had come down by about 10 minutes between 2019 and 2024. About 140,000 households were covered in this survey.
कि भले घर में काम दोनों करें, खाना तो सिर्फ औरत ही बनाएगी.
A typical 9 to 5 job lasts 8 hours, and if it's a 5-day working week, then an employee gets 2 days off. Running a household, on the other hand, doesn't have a cut-off time at the end of the day, and the weekends are also not off. But in colloquial terms, ghar chalana is not usually perceived as a real job, and since it is not quantified, it is also said to be difficult to figure out a salary for it. But apart from the pay, credit is also often not given where it's due.
एक दिन मेरे बाप ने भी तुम्हारी तरह आके कह दिया तुम करती क्या हो, घर पे तो बैठी रहती हो.
Unpaid household work is said to indirectly contribute to the GDP of countries because it enables other people to go out and participate in paid work, but it is not included in economies since there's no system in place to calculate its actual worth. The International Labour Organization said unpaid work can be invisible in both policies and statistics. While no country has a universal system of paying citizens for household chores, countries such as Germany and France have certain ways to give financial support. Germany gives parental allowance to people who choose to stay at home after childbirth and care for children. France gives out a monthly allowance until a child's 3rd birthday, among other things. So far, India doesn't have a government-mandated remuneration for unpaid household work in any form, and several politicians have brought this up. When actor-politician Kamal Hassan launched his own party in 2020, he pitched for salaries for homemakers whose work, he said, goes unrecognized and unmonetized. This would, according to him, raise the dignity of women folk. Congress politician Shashi Tharoor welcomed this idea, saying a monthly wage to homemakers would enhance their power and autonomy. In 2024, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi said this while campaigning for the Lok Sabha elections.
इस देश की हर महिला 8 घंटे घर के बाहर जॉब करती है और फिर 8 घंटे घर में जॉब करती है, भोजन बनाती है, बच्चों की देखभाल करती है, भविष्य की हिंदुस्तान के भविष्य की रक्षा करती है। मगर 8 घंटे के लिए आपको पैसा मिलता है, मगर जो घर में आप काम करती हैं उसके लिए आज तक आपको किसी सरकार ने पैसा नहीं दिया। ये बात शायद पुरुषों को अच्छी ना लगे, मगर ये हिंदुस्तान की सच्चाई है। देखिए, महिलाएं सब मुस्कुरा रही हैं, ये समझ गई बात।
Among the people standing on the other side of this conversation were actor-turned-politician Kangana Ranaut and former Union Minister Smriti Irani. Kangana Ranaut said, "Don't put a price tag on sex we have with our love. Don't pay us for mothering our own. We don't need salary for being the queens of our own little kingdom, our home. Stop seeing everything as a business. Surrender to your woman. She needs all of you, not just your love, respect, salary." Smriti Irani, in a separate conversation, asked, "Can you respect somebody that you pay for love and care?" while wondering whether any economist would be able to compute the cost of carrying a child for 9 months and looking after them. But certain courts in India had, in several cases, computed the cost payable to a woman for running a household. They did this by calculating the opportunity cost, which means the profit someone would potentially make on the options they don't choose because they have to pick another option. For instance, if a person is staying at home to manage it, they would miss out on the minimum wage they would have made if they went out to work. In 2024, the Supreme Court observed if the activities performed by a homemaker are computed one by one, there cannot be any doubt that the contribution is of a high order and is invaluable. A bench of the Apex Court had said this while awarding a compensation of 6 lakh rupees to the family of a woman who had died in an accident. In several such cases, courts have computed the notional income of homemakers and given compensations accordingly. Notional income is an approximate economic value to decide how much their work is worth in terms of money. Economists often use the replacement cost method to figure out how much women's unpaid household work is actually worth. Basically, they look at how much someone would get paid to do similar tasks such as childcare or cleaning, and then multiply it by the number of hours women spend doing these things at home. Unpaid work at its core is an issue about gender roles, gender inequality, and the need to find solutions. And the women who do it are often hailed as superheroes for forgoing their personal desires and ambitions to fulfill familial expectations and duties. But does valuing their work only go as far as calling them superheroes, or does their labor warrant a price?
Ooh, interesting
Yeah.
question. This was your video recommendation. What do you think, Boss?
I don't know if it's so much about I don't know what I think. there are different levels in the video about the being paid or unpaid, and I don't know if we should be paid or not for the kind of work. But I think what we all lack, no matter what, is recognition,
Appreciation.
So it's not about we are doing more. We know we are doing more.
Yeah.
It's we don't. I mean, even if I don't need someone to tell me I'm doing more than my husband, even though my husband is doing quite a bit, and probably more than the average. of men, all I need is, wow, you're doing all this and you're working.
Yeah.
And you are commuting between one place to another, and you manage to do other things
All
which
of
you
these
like.
things. Yeah.
So yeah, just we don't necessarily need to hear all the time that we are super women.
Mhm.
We know that, but
No.
once in a while,
Once in a while. We get one day.
yeah, we get one day.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Women's Day. We actually get two. Then Mother's Day.
No, it's actually not Women's Day.
What
It's
is it?
International Right of Women.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't even know that. That's
It's
interesting.
not Women's Day. If
Huh.
you look at it, it's international.
Right of women,
Yeah.
right of women. Interesting. So I too think that this is an interesting topic. I see it too that like they brought up the fact that a lot of the highly educated women that are in the workforce eventually leave. Like this is also a problem in India. Many big companies have drives to get these women back into the workforce, like once they've had their babies and they've maybe said, I'm just going to not work anymore. There are a lot of companies that go out and actively try to recruit these women and get them back into the workforce. When I came here, I was really only supposed to be here for 1 or 2 years. And at that particular time, my husband said to me, don't worry about working, just take a 1 or 2 year break. But 1 went to 2 and 2 went to 4, and then we're having babies. And then all of a sudden, 9 years later, my kids were in preschool and school, and I was at home by myself I was doing the majority of the housework at that time. The first 7 years that we lived here, we did not have a housekeeper. I thought if I'm not working,
Might as well do it.
that is what I can do with my contribution to the household. And I took care of the kids. I was the one, if there was any issue at night, if there was any type of anything with the children, when they were little, it was me. Yeah, because my husband was working and he needed to have a good night's sleep. So I took on that burden. But when I was then, after 9 years, I thought I do want to go back into the workforce. I do want to have a job where I can, I guess, and one of the things was I wanted a job where someone was like, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, and
I wanted that appreciation. I wanted that recognition. I wanted to be able to have that for myself outside of the home.
And where you meet people
Where
also.
you meet people, yeah.
Because that's opening. But that said, I understand the women who have children and don't go back to work because it's difficult. I mean, if you
Oh, it was so hard.
yeah, when you leave your kids, you feel guilty for leaving
You
your
totally
kids.
do.
You
You
feel
feel
guilty
guilty.
for saying no, I can't. I have to work. I
And
can't attend this, or I can't attend that.
I'm not sure how much of that guilt goes to men. I don't know if they feel guilty.
Not
I'm
all
not
of them.
sure. Not all of them. But, so when I did go back to the office, first of all, I feel very, very, very lucky, I guess, that I was even able to get a job because I've met many women that have been out of the workforce for 5, 10, 15 years, and they're unable to get back.
Yeah.
A lot of companies, although there are some that try to get them back, after a certain amount of time pass, they're not able to get back in. So I am so lucky that I was able to make the move back into the workforce. It was a struggle initially, when I went, when I left the US, if we had a knowledge transfer, we called it a knowledge transfer. And then 9 years later, it was called KT session. And I had to wait a whole day until I got back to my husband, and I had to ask him,
What is
the KT session? There's a lot of things like that, but that's apart from it. But I am very lucky now because after I started working, I told my husband, and I've been progressively making it more so that I can't handle it all. I can't make so many dinners. I can't make, because I have vegetarians, I have non-vegetarians in my house. I have so many things going on. I'm working at night. I have things that are, he's working, I'm working, how are we managing? And I basically had to let him know that I can't do it. I quietly quit cooking basically, and I cook once a day and that's all I do. But I know so many women in the workforce, even now, that will get up at like 4 in the morning or 5 in the
And
morning. They'll
start cooking.
cook breakfast, they'll cook lunch for their husbands, then they'll cook a dinner, they make sure they have all that, and then they go to work. And then they come back and they do their cleaning, they do another round of cooking, they're taking care of kids, they're doing the tuitions, they're doing all of that. And it's all of the burden on the women. And many women here can't tell their husband, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I did. And
So women who are listening to us, respect.
And, if you guys need, if you can get one, get a housekeeper, get a cook, take some of the burden off if you can. If you can't, talk to your husband, make certain that he is aware that you may need help. There's a lot of times that we struggle in silence. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard too. And we shouldn't. We should be more vocal. I think, men can help more, and I think they should help more. That's what I think. Yeah. So if you like the reaction, please give a like. Please give a subscribe. If you want to see us react to something else, please put it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Be nice. All right,
Happy Women's Day.
And happy Women's Day. As always, we love you and bye-bye.
Bye.
Mwah.